Hello everyone. Just continuing to set up. I should be good to go. Okay. Here we are. I have my reading buddy with me today. Right, hopefully the music isn't too loud. I've turned it almost all the way down. I might actually keep it on for this session, just so there's a little bit of background noise. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this. I was thinking of probably like recording like me just reading my books and then uploading it that way, so I might just do that from here on out. But today I'm gonna read it live because that's fun. I really didn't fancy playing any games today. But I still wanted to go live since, you know, I did promise. I'm going to read one of my own books. Nothing spicy, so it'll be well within terms of service for YouTube and everywhere else. And as you can see by the book cover, well, you can't really see on this because it's probably a small screen, but I do have my little signature ID on there. It's one of my old ones, but there we are, it's fine. I made this book cover myself using Canva. Obviously the images themselves I had to pay for, well, through Canva. I was really impressed with myself with that one. So Adventures of the Crown is a fantasy adventure. There isn't a whole lot of romance in there. There's like subtle hints here and there, and a little bit towards the end, but nothing major in the series. It's one of the very few books I have which has no romance in it, or at least very little. But it is one of the books that I first wrote. And I'm actually kind of proud of it, even though there's probably still a load of errors in there somewhere. I don't know if I'll be able to record the Kindle screen going forward because Let's View is fussy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So future iterations of this might end up being without the words on screen. But for now it's working, so small victories, right? Small victories. Oh, don't make me laugh, Crush. Book 3 will come soon, I promise. By soon I mean in like 10 years. I haven't been able to write anything, so yeah, you'll probably yell at me for that. I wasn't actually expecting you to show up, of all people. Yeah, I need to write the outline and everything first. I've got the book covers ready. Well, I've got the book cover for the prequel ready. Which is probably the one I'm going to work on first. So that'll be, well, I want to say Yukiro's story, but I've changed her name now to Talith, so it'll be Talith's story. And how she became a god, so that'll be the book I release first. The end of the story, I don't know when that'll happen. I plan for at least 4 books, so yeah. One is a prequel, though, as I said, so it'll be before everything happened. Hello, Knight, and don't worry if you can or cannot join the stream later. I will attempt to stream again. I am a little bit later than usual. I don't know why. I just got waylaid. Hi, Tima. Anyway, let's... and I'm probably going to butcher all of the names and words in this book because I choose really, really pretty names and then I can't never pronounce them, so... And excuse me if I start coughing again. It's a lot better today than it has been. But every now and then I start choking to death. Fun times. But yeah, I'm going to have to think of the outlines for the prequel and the next book in the series. I also plan to read my friend's book, a reluctant side character. That won't be this session though, but I did promise I'd read that for her. So this book was written 2018, well, first published 2018. It's gone through a few edits since then, and I've uploaded it elsewhere other than Kindle. Kindle is probably the cheapest way of reading it. You can also get paperback, which is quite nice. I have a version of the old one, same book cover, but it's the old version before I changed my pen name. I'm dying still. But the Kindle version is the new one, because it doesn't have my real name on it anymore. So when I wrote this one, it is a very cute dragon, isn't it? I think where did I get it from? I think it was Etsy. I do have a link for it. I think I've forgotten to put it in my description, but I do have the link for it somewhere, because I like to credit people who I borrow the assets from. I may have to update that later. You have to read the prequel, Crush, because how will you know how awesome Talith is if you don't read the prequel? Although, to be fair, my friend doesn't like prequels either. Originally wasn't going to be a prequel, it was going to be the first book in the series, period, but... excuse me. But what happened is I got really depressed over it because a couple of people really put down my writing, which really hurt at the time because they were like my friends. I'm over it now, you know, and we've made amends and everything's kosher. But yeah, so I kind of scrapped the whole book and then started with this book instead. So technically it's not a prequel. Technically it was the first book in the series, but yeah, it's now a prequel because fuck you, that's why. Hello, Afan. We're not playing games today. I am going to be reading chapter 1 of my book. Just because. Maybe I'll play a couple of games later. And we all know you like Lynette. I don't know why you like Lynette, because I'm usually really, really bad at writing females. But I'm glad you like her. I do like Lynette. She's pretty cool. She's one of my favourite females. Yeah, often my book. My main job, other than, you know, retail, is actually writing. And I've published, like, a lot of books now. This is the only one that isn't, like, full-on romance, though. All the rest are kind of spicy. So, yeah, so the story behind the acknowledgement and everything is that when I was really depressed about my writing, I made a friend called Callie, and she really helped me get back into writing and find my love and passion again. So basically this is just me thanking her more than anything. And then I also added a few translations of some words for what I would say is the Elvish language. Obviously it's not called Elvish in my book. So I've never read a book out loud before, especially not to people. So this is going to be highly entertaining because my dyslexic ass is going to struggle throughout this whole thing. So this is going to be probably terrible. Yeah, I write books. As I said, most of them are kind of spicy. Which platform did this book published? Originally it was on Lulu, publisher, which was kind of like a third party thing. But then I took it down from there and uploaded it directly to Amazon and Kindle. After that I uploaded it to Good Novel. Excuse me. I think it's on iReader and a few others, but it is mostly on Kindle. Kindle is probably the cheapest place you're gonna find it, because all the others are pay per chapter and it's per word count, so it can get expensive. I could read one of your books, Crush, but the problem with your books, the problem with your books is the writing is so goddamn small that I can't even see the words. And I will forever bully you for that. I love you, though. I love you. Okay, I'll read. God, so demanding. Demanding. Okay, chapter 1. Demandy little pants. It was nighttime in the lands of terror, and with no moon to give light to the countryside, things were pitch black. I wonder if I can highlight this as I'm reading. I suppose I can. Bit chunky though. Ah, forget it. Oh, you fixed it, did you? Okay then. I'll let you off then. I'm not buying another version of your book though. I love you, but I don't love you that much. Where was I? A lone torch flickered deep within a chasm, a sign that at least one person was still awake at this hour. What genre is my book? Oh no! Don't press buttons. So sensitive. What genre is it? It is fantasy adventure. It has the hintiest of hints of romance, but it's not very much. I actually don't like romance too much. Like, I don't hate it, hence why I do write it, but I prefer fantasy adventures, which is what this is. The cloaked figure stood before an entrance of an old catacomb. It had been uncovered recently when an earthquake had shaken the ground, causing the earth to split in two. You're kind of biased, Crush, because you've heard me speak before. Like, before I even became a VTuber. You were lucky. You were very lucky. I never used to do like voice things. Anyway, the trip down into the far reaches of the earth had been a long one, taken the person several hours. Luckily, there were several ledges on which to rest, and the person had come prepared for a long journey. Taking a deep breath of air in, the figure lowered the hood of their cloak to reveal a male with shoulder-length blonde locks and deep blue eyes. He seemed to be a young adult, likely no older than 20. His skin was free of blemishes, and he had an air of curiosity around him. It was obvious in his expressions that the catacombs interested him a great deal. The man held the torch out in front of him, as he attempted to read the runes littering the ancient doorframe above his head. His lips thinned as he tried to make sense of the strange letters, but ultimately he failed in doing so. "Must be in the old tongue of the gods," he said to himself, his smooth voice concealing the annoyance within. "But there's no doubt about it. This is the place I need to go if the rumours are true." Oh, do you mean chasm? Yeah. So chasm obviously is a big, huge, when the earth splits in two and creates that big, huge void. I like using words. The only problem is, obviously, those who aren't fluent in English might have to look up certain words, so I try not to use words that are too, like, complex. But yeah, anyway, so taking a few paces forward, the man frowned deeply, noticing the door to the catacombs was open. He hoped that this was not a bad omen, and that any dangers within had not found their way outside just yet. The rumour that had led him to this area had been one of an ancient spirit of an old god, one that had the power to raise up corpses as an undying army. Apparently, this god had been trapped away deep underground by the goddess of death. Though one could never really know the truth without asking the goddess directly, and that was no easy task. Oh, I do apologise, Arfan. It probably doesn't help that I've still got that lingering cough and cold, so that's probably not helping. I'll try and speak a little bit slower. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Cautiously, the man moved through the doorway and down several flights of the stone steps. At the end of the stairs, he was met with long, thin corridors. Several of them branched out into larger rooms full of the old tombs. Despite the fact that the dust littered the rooms from the floor up, it smelled quite musty and damp. There was no sound coming from any of the rooms here, until the man continued down the long hallway and towards another flight of stairs. He knew that the creature he sought would be further down, where there would be more corpses for it to raise and control. Probably wasn't my best choice reading when I still got a sore throat. Spoilers, Crash. Spoilers. Nobody else has read this book yet, apart from, obviously, me, because I wrote it and you. I don't think Team R has even read it yet. The sound of movement coming from the further down in the catacombs. Yeah, it is a tiny spoiler, but still a spoiler. Naughty, naughty. The sound of movement coming from further down in the catacombs caused the man to pause at the end of the stairs. He listened cautiously before slowly poking his head around the corner. A sigh of relief escaped his lips when he noticed that the sound was coming from a couple of rats that had made their nest here. They scurried about, finding offence to the light from the torches that littered the catacombs. The relief the man had felt seemed to wash away within moments as a realization hit him like a mound of bricks. But who lit the torches? He quietly asked himself. He carefully stepped further into the small room, and sheathing his sword slowly, the metallic sound echoing throughout the room. It wasn't as if the dead truly needed light in order to see the path ahead of them, did they? See, Team R says it's too much of a spoiler. I told you. I mean, I could say, like, the world gets hurt, but, you know. Actually, the world doesn't get hurt, but... Or does it? Who knows? I lost where I was then. His blue eyes scanned the area around him, but he saw no sign of any undead creatures. However, his eyes did notice footprints in the dust. He had not noticed them before, and realised that they had entered the room from another path than the one he had taken. Frowning deeply, the man's gaze followed the path the prints took. Whoever it was seemed to know the path in which they needed to take. There seemed to be no hesitation in their movements throughout the catacombs. Yet there was only one set of prints, a clear sign that they were alone. Steeling himself, the man took a deep breath in, then began to follow the direction the footprints led in. He wasn't so sure the person wasn't the god, but he also wasn't sure they were not, in fact, mortal. Treasure hunters would often explore strange places, in hopes of finding riches, and he hoped that this was the case here. He himself had no interest in such trinkets. His only concern was the dangerous walking dead rumoured to be here. The path he followed led further through the tunnels, into the mountain. He wondered why someone would build a burial chamber so far down in the earth like this. But then there were many strange things about the days before the War of the Gods. Thinking about it too much unsettled the man, and so he shook his head of such thoughts and continued on his way. As he moved slowly through the narrow tunnels, the man noticed that ahead of him there laid a barricade of metal bars that blocked his way further in. Give me a second to have a sippy sip. He wrinkled his nose in irritation. He hoped he had not missed a turning, as turning around in such tight spaces was difficult. He looked back down to the floor for any signs of where the footprints led, and he became puzzled. They continued on as if the bars had not hampered the person at all. Taking a closer look around him, he knew there had to be a switch or similar that would allow him access into the room ahead. Even a god could not pass through metal, surely. He took a step backwards and regarded the area before himself. Let's try that again. He took a step backwards and regarded the area before himself for anything that seemed out of place. There was nothing out of the ordinary, except for one small rock that stuck out of the wall. It was hardly noticeable to anyone not actively looking for it. "Aha!" he said, smirking to himself. "I knew there had to be something to open you up." He reached a hand up, pushing the bit of loose rock inwards. With a resounding click, the bars ahead of him slowly began to sink into the floor. Keeping his sword ahead of himself, the person carefully moved out into the more spacious room. He was relieved to see that this room was equally as empty as the rest of the catacombs. However, there was most certainly something different about this area. What it was, the man could not quite tell, but the air here felt constricting. More torches littered the room, and the footprints seemed to pace the room. It was as if the person suddenly was unsure which direction they needed to go. It was of little wonder, as there were many more paths that led out of this room than there had been before. The man wondered if continuing to follow this person was a good idea, and he hesitated for a moment. The sound of scraping coming from one of the paths alerted him to someone, or something, approaching him. He turned around slowly, sword raised in a position to attack. With bated breath, the man waited for what seemed like an eternity for whatever creature was heading in his direction. What he saw made the man's face pale. He had not expected the rumours to be true, after all. He had not seen any sign of anything abnormal here up until now. The skeleton at first did not seem to notice the man, which was no surprise as it lacked any eyes to speak of. Only hollow dents allowed any sign of where two eyes had once been. The creature continued on through the room, before it paused in its steps. Slowly, its head cocked to the side, as if it seemed confused by something or other. The man's eyes widened as he took a step back from the bony creature. It seemed to be looking right at him. Impossible! But there was no denying the snarl now emitting from it. The thought that perhaps the skeleton could see him sent shivers down the man's spine. Coupled with the grotesque sound the creature was making, it made the man want to run. However, he stood his ground, sword held ready for the inevitable attack. As if sensing the human man's fear, the creature leapt forward with surprising speed. It had been slow and almost dumb upon arrival, but now it almost matched the man in speed and knowledge of the battle. It held an old sword that had obviously seen better days, yet it was still strong enough to parry the blows set by the human. With a loud ringing sound echoing the room, the man parried the skeleton's own blow. He hoped there was a chance that he could kill the creature, if such monsters could truly be killed. His attacks to the torso did nothing to slow the dead beast, and only angered it further. Instead, the man attempted to disarm the skeleton. With a swift swing of his sword, that's a tongue twister, the arm of the skeleton was removed from the rest of its haggard body. The creature stumbled about, trying to fend off the attacker, and reach its sword arm. However, the man gave the creature no such chance to react, or reattach its arm, if that was indeed possible. Its head rolled to the floor as the man's sword decapitated it with another swift blow. The skeleton then crumbled to the floor in a pile of dust. You know what, this is probably one of my favourite scenes to actually write, is like the battles and fighting. Obviously, skeletons don't exactly produce any gore, but yeah, battle scenes are my favourite to write. I always have a nice battle scene. So I kind of miss writing this in romances. I mean, you can have sort of battles, but because most romances are sort of like more modern, you don't get all the cool sword fights. Anyway, a huge sigh of relief escaped the man's lips. He was glad that it was indeed possible to re-kill something already dead. Though this did not settle his fear much at all. If the only way to kill the undead was through the removal of the head, then it would take a lot of effort if there were more of the creatures to fight than just the one. Besides, if this god could truly bring back the dead to fight, then newer bodies might not be easy to take down, and may even be reanimated more than once. At the thought of an army of these creatures entered his mind, the man thinned his lips and once more took up the task of finding out which direction the other person had taken. If they were not skilled fighters, then they could be in danger of joining the undead. He just hoped that this was not already the case, and that he could get them to agree to work with him. The person seemed to have travelled down several paths before settling on one in particular, or at least they had not backtracked through the tunnel. This either meant it was the correct path, or they had died down there. Yeah. If you ever do need any help, Team R, feel free to, drop me a message. I'm always happy to help other authors with their writing. Now that I'm done coughing myself to death. The sound of more scraping coming from another tunnel behind him caused the man to glance back. This time he could tell there was more than just one creature coming this way. The man did not wish to find out just how many there were. Swiftly he took to the tunnel. It was not as tight as the others, and he felt relieved that he could defend himself here if he suddenly found himself facing another enemy. It did not take him long to reach the other end of the tunnel, and he found himself in front of several piles of dusty old bones, evidence that the person had combat skill and had already dispatched several skeletons here. The man was glad that they were not as vulnerable as he feared, but he also worried that this person might be as dangerous as any dead creature. Still, he was not deterred by possibilities. Yeah, I get it. I haven't been writing much lately either, Team R. I still want to finish the book, and I did write a synopsis for my good novel editor, because I did promise another book for her. But yeah, no, I haven't been writing much either. I think I've gotten to the point with werewolf romance that it's getting a bit boring, and I want to change it up, but at the same time that's what makes money, so never mind. The sound of steel hitting steel echoed throughout the catacombs as the man took in the sight before him. It jerked his attention towards one of the tunnels. The sound seemed to be coming from that direction. He was sure of it. Though it was hard to tell how far away the sound had come from. The walls bounced sound around like the wind blew a leaf in the gardens. Heading through the tunnel, the man moved cautiously, but with swift steps. It did not take him long before he reached another spacious room. He blinked several times as he took in the sight before him. He had expected to see a burly man with rugged good looks, or maybe some kind of bandit. Instead, he saw a very lithe Enerawyn woman, or an elf to most humans. And I believe that is the end of chapter 1. So we got to find an elf. But yeah, so that's just my chapter 1 of the book. One. Again, I don't know if I'll read these live again. I just really wanted to do something different from gaming for a change. Obviously I might still do gaming because I've only been here half hour. But yeah, if anyone wants to read that book, you can find it on Kindle. If I pull up the book cover again, there we go. You can find it on Kindle. It is also on Good Novel and Mega Novel, and a couple of other online reading apps for ebooks. But Kindle is the cheapest place to get it. I believe it's like £4.99. I don't know what that is translated into other currency. What I might do is read the next few chapters and just upload them as content rather than do them live, just so then there's something different for people to watch, and I can put them into like a playlist, and maybe I'll do that for different books as well. Obviously it'll depend on the permissions I get from other people, so for now it'll probably just be my book and one of my friends' books. I'll probably start with a reluctant side character as one of my friend books, only because I already have permission from her to read her books. And obviously if I get permission from other people, I'll read them as well. Yeah, I can read yours maybe one day, Tima. I don't know if I've got your books. I think I did. I'm fairly sure I did. Private message me on Discord with your books, and I'll see if I've got them. Did you have them on Kindle or did you have them on Mega Novel? I'm fairly sure I saw them on one of them. As long as I can read it, and the writing's not too small, it should be alright. Could read some of the spicier stuff, but the problem with the spicy stuff is obviously YouTube doesn't like the spicy stuff. I could potentially read Wed to the Alpha, because that has no spicy stuff in it. It's not exactly my best werewolf book, though. It's sweet, but that's about it. There is another one I could potentially read. There's a little bit of spice in there, but not... I don't think YouTube would have a problem with it because it's not smut. Because I avoided writing the smut scenes for that one. Because, again, that one is more fantasy. More fantasy adventure. But it's still werewolf romance, so I had to have some spice in there. I do apologise. Hopefully this cough goes away. I mean, it's almost gone. Just every now and then it sort of like sparks up again. It starts killing me. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this now. There we go. Okay, that's gone. Yeah, no, my cough still hasn't fully gone. It's to the point where it's gotten really annoying more than anything now. Right. Do we have any requests for games? And I can start playing something. The ball game? Yeah, I can play the ball game. Let's see if I can remember how to actually set everything up. No, not that one. That one. Let me just... I think that was 200. No, that wasn't 200, that was 150? It's 160. Something like that. I'm surprised I have not scuffed this up doing this live. Normally I set everything up before I go live, and then I know I've done it properly. Yeah, this game is really, really fun and addictive. I don't know if I can post the link because I'm not signed into chat. Let's see if I can post the link. There we go. Oh, right, yeah, no, okay, it doesn't want to send. Okay, it doesn't want to send the link, so... But for anyone who does want the link, it is the SUIKA game.com. Or if anyone is on my Discord, I can always link it there, just let me know. It is free to play. This is just the website version. I'm fairly sure you can get this game on pretty much everywhere. There's it might not be by these people, but there's definitely versions of it. I don't know what my high score is though. We'll see if we can beat your high score though, Affin. Probably not because the game hates me, but let's have an attempt at it, shall we? No, of course it's not good. This game hates me for some reason. Look, that's clearly touching. Such a cheat. I guess I don't want the microphone anymore. There we go. Have we heard any new news about Dragon Age? I don't think we have we? When's trying to think when the EA thing is going. Dragon Age is a role-playing game. It's fairly old now, the series, but it's a fantasy role-playing game. It's very, very good. I have played it on this channel. I usually play it live. I haven't played it in a while because I've just been too sick to focus on story-driven games. But you have Dragon Age Origins, which is probably my favourite. Then you have Dragon Age 2, which I still love, even though it has lots of faults. And then you have Dragon Age Inquisition, which was released 10 years ago now, I think it was. That one I enjoyed quite a bit for the lore. And then we have Dreadwolf coming out, I think this year, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Because we've had little... Excuse me. We've had little to no information on it yet. We've had some background images. Well, not background images. They're sort of like hints at what places we're going to be visiting, and that's about it. We haven't had a lot at all. No, I don't have a permanent illness. It's just this cough seems to have lasted for well over a week now, and it's frustrating. Unfortunately, it's going around the UK at the moment. So everyone in my family has had this cough, and quite a few people in work as well. I think it's just because of the weather, and so you just catch illnesses really easily around this time of the year. I guess you can call it the summer flu. I don't usually have illnesses this long. Usually I get it for like a couple of days and then I'm better again, but yeah, you might have had whatever this illness going around is. I'm sure other countries have had it as well. It's more annoying than anything. Come on, touch. Nope, you don't want to touch. Well, hopefully you get better soon if you're ill again now, Fun. If you're not ill, congrats, I think. Yeah, I don't tend to stay ill long. But I catch pretty much everything because my immune system is terrible. But again, I don't tend to stay ill long. Oh, I should have put... Never mind. Okay, you touched. Hopefully it'll be gone before I go on holiday in 2 weeks' time, because otherwise that would just suck. No, I'm glad you're not ill right now. And yeah, having a bad immune system really is shitty. I feel you. Come on, you just need to touch a little tiny bit. I just realised, I think I've still got the music playing, haven't I? Never mind. It's from YouTube, so I think I'm allowed. Okay. Okay, what are you guys doing? Okay, that's fine. You can all go over there. I don't think we're gonna I don't think we're gonna pass your level. Unless we're very, very lucky. We'll try though. We'll try. I mean, you might have had a lot better luck than me. This game seems to like sometimes give me the luck, sometimes it doesn't. At the moment, it's been somewhat nice. Let's put that there. I think it's been a bit too nice. Okay, now it's been a little bit mean. Okay, I think I'm done coughing again. No, no! Oh well. Well, we got halfway there. The popping sound, it's probably because I've turned the music down a bit. If I stop the music and put my desktop up over then, you should be able to hear it then. Let me know if that is better. You able to hear the ball popping now? There we go. It's because I had the sound down. Do you think it's going to roll all the way over, or do you think it's going to stop? Oh, it did. It rolled all the way over. They're going to touch. Oh, they did. Maybe I can roll that one over there. so satisfying when they actually do what I want them to do. Come on, roly. There we go. Yeah, for some reason it's been way too kind to me now. Either that or I've mastered this game. Which I highly doubt, because it's all luck based. I don't mind games like this every now and then. I do prefer my storytelling games though. Okay, I don't want to block that up. Just in case I get more. If we can at least get one watermelon in this game, I would be very, very, very happy. No, you're not going to touch. Of course you're not going to touch, because that would be too kind, wouldn't it? I like it when they just roll like that. Don't know why. Kind of reminds me of wheels. Like the wheels that, or cogs turning in the machine. These fruit don't look very happy though, do they? Like they all either look really sad or really angry. Oh, well, we're one step closer to getting a watermelon. Oh, so these little oranges are decopons. Okay. I wasn't sure what they were last time because I'd hidden the fruits list. So these little ones, the little tiny red ones are cherries. Next one's up for strawberries, which I knew. The purple ones are grapes, I also knew that one. This little orange one is a decapon. The bigger orange ones, which we don't have any at the moment. Okay, now we do. So look with the green thing. That is apparently an orange, which I think I knew before. Yellow ones are pears, apparently. They don't look like pears to me. But they're pears apparently. Let's see if we can get the next one up. Are we going to get lucky and actually get the next one up? Come on, give us the next one up. There we go. So the next one up is the pinky purpley one, which is a peach apparently, and again that does not look like peach. Oh, so now we got two peaches. But yeah, they don't look like peaches at all to me. I don't think we're going to get the next one up again. But the other yellow, the bright yellow ones are pineapples apparently, and again I don't think they look like pineapples. Like, barely any of these look like fruit. If you can hear the creaking, don't mind the creaking. And the banging. And anything else you hear. I'm guessing there's something up in the attic that whoever is up there needs. I don't see us surviving for much longer. Oof. Oh, okay, we got lucky there. Yeah, I had a really great start this round. I'm very surprised that I didn't die then. So what games do you normally play, Arfan? Didn't quite touch. I don't think I'm going to beat your second high score either. Yeah, nah. Okay, well we sort of did. 1788. That's not bad. Could have been a lot better. I think we'll have one more game. Yeah, what type of games do you normally play, Afan? Like, is there any particular sort of like genres you prefer? I mean, I obviously preferred like the fantasy genres. Click. I like it when it does that. Not exactly what I wanted to happen, but I'll take it. Oh, actually, action isn't too bad. The one type of genre I can't play is shoot 'ems. Mostly because I just suck at them. Yeah, I used to play Minecraft a lot. I'll hop on now and then if like one of my friends wants to play, but yeah, for the most part I don't play Minecraft all that much anymore. I think the only shoot 'em ups that I've ever really played have been role playing ones, so like Mass Effect and Fallout. They've been the only ones I've sort of really played. But if I'm playing against people, I just suck. I'll take it. Not what I wanted to happen, but I will definitely take it. Oh, right, okay. The only gacha games I've really heard of is, I think, Genshin Impact. I've not played it yet, though. There was apparently a lot of drama around that recently. Or, I say recently, New Year's, I think it was. I know a lot of other VTubers play it, though. Don't know if I played any other gacha games. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about One Piece. I haven't watched it myself or read the manga, but my friends do. I probably should like catch up, but this because it's such a long series, it's kind of daunting. Yeah, I can't say I watch many VTubers. Like, I don't watch them live because they're time zones and all. But the ones I quite like the most, I would say I've seen a few of Rin Penrose's shorts. They're also British. I think they're English though, so I'm obviously so much more awesome because I'm Welsh. Jokes aside. So got Rin Penrose and Sayu is the other one I sometimes watch clips of, along with I'm terrible at names. Monarch, there we go, I remembered. But their time zones are all over the place compared to me, so I don't really catch them live or anything. I'm not really certain if I would ever join an agency. It seems cool, but at the same time I think I'd be a lot more limited in what I could do, and I don't really like that. It just reminds me of my writing career all over again, where I'm kind of limited in what I can write because that's what everybody wants, and limitations, and I like being free. Yeah, so some streamers can be a bit much, I think. I try to be a little bit more chill, and I try to avoid politics as much as I can. But some streamers rely heavily on sort of like feeding the algorithm and drama. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching drama myself, but I don't really want to be part of it, if that makes sense. I'm sure it'll happen one day, especially if I get bigger. But if I can avoid it for the most part, I'd rather try. I don't see this match going well at all. Yeah, no. Never mind. I think the only who do I watch stream-wise? I don't think there is any streamers I watch. Because most of them, again, always stream, like, after I've gone to bed. So if I watch anything, it's usually, like, clips afterwards. Or if they release, like, short videos. Or the only time I watch long videos is if I'm sort of like in the process of writing and I just want background noise. We'll play one more game. Only because that was such a short round. So yeah, I don't tend to watch streamers just because of the time zone differences more than anything. And again, I don't mind dramas, but it all depends. Like, sometimes it can be really entertaining, especially if it's over stupid stuff, but other times it can get a bit much. I'll go over there, I guess. A crying girl. Oh, that's a bit of a weird stream to start off with. I've been on YouTube, obviously this not as a VTuber, I've been on YouTube for a while. I'm gonna say early 2000s when I made my first account. I used to upload AMVs. I haven't done that in years though. But I think I deleted that account. Then I came back. I can't remember why I came back. There was some reason I came back. And I made a account where I just watch and follow people. But then I decided that I was bored and just wanted to play games and stream them. And that's just kind of how this happened. It started off with me doing book reviews, and then I realised that I don't really do book reviews. I'm really terrible at reviewing stuff. That doesn't mean to say I've stopped completely, but I'm just not very good at it, so it's not a thing that's going to end up being the main staple of my channel, like I planned originally. So yeah, if you look back to my older videos at any one point and you see really badly drawn foxes and reviews of obscure books, that'll be why. I definitely prefer VTubing though. It's much more fun. And I can talk about whatever I want. And play whatever I fancy playing at the time. Again, if I was with an agency, I don't think I'd be able to play half the games I want to play. Like, I don't think they'd let me play Dragon Age because of the mature content in it. Or the possibility for mature content, I should say. I'd be very, very limited, and I don't like being limited when I'm playing games. This isn't going very well. It's okay to suck at something at first, Arfan. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I'm probably not the best VTuber either, so we all learn. We all learn from somewhere, and start from somewhere. And most of it is just practice. The more you do something, the more you'll improve. You'll probably like Dragon Age then. And it's not just like the steamy stuff. It's obviously you got the violence and swearing and the jokes and stuff. I do highly recommend it. And Mass Effect if you prefer the sci-fi genre. Dragon Age if you prefer fantasy. Mass Effect if you prefer sci-fi. It's by the same people. But very, very different games. And I'll have them both. Yeah, there's a lot of robots. Bang. I have no idea what that was about. This is why I don't usually do late streams. It usually gets a bit noisy. So Dragon Age depends on the game. The first one you get to play as a Grey Warden, and you've got, usual save the world type of fantasy story with lots of twists and turns and amazing characters. Dragon Age 2, you end up being a champion of a city. You sort of like save the city, more or less, without giving too many spoilers. Inquisition, you end up becoming like a herald of one of the religious figures. Whether or not you are or not is depending on what you sort of like roleplay. But that's a sort of like save the world situation again. It's really, really, really fun. It's not in mobile. You can get it on pretty much any console or PC. I personally have it on the PlayStation and on the PC. I started off on the PlayStation, but then... actually, I should put it in, never mind. I started off with the PlayStation version, and then I got it for the PC because I wanted hair mods. Because the hairs aren't the best in Dragon Age. And then Mass Effect is you play the same character throughout all three. Unlike Dragon Age, which you have different character for each one. But basically, for Mass Effect, you have something called the Reapers, which are sentient sort of like machinery, and they plan on sort of like destroying pretty much the whole galaxy for reasons I won't get behind because spoilers. And basically you gotta save the galaxy. It's really fun. It is a shooter, so it is one of the very few shooters I'm actually decent at, because it's not against other people, it's just thingy. Yeah, there's no rush. It still plays decently well on my Windows 11. Unlike Fallout 3, which does not like working on my PC, my laptop, for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna end the game there. I'll stay in chat for a little bit longer, but I will be going soon, just to give my my voice a bit of a rest. There we go. But yeah, no. If you can get a hold of the games and play them, they are 100% worth it. I might be like a bit biased in that regard, because I love BioWare games. About Dragon Age, funnily enough. So Dragon Age Dreadwolf, releasing sooner than expected. Blah 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 blah. EA revealed it had 2 unknown games. Blah 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 blah. This year. Blah 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 blah. One of those titles was absolutely Dragon Age Dreadwolf. See, that's what I don't like about new EA at the moment. They've got all these games and they don't want to show us any like gameplay or anything, and that makes me worried. Really does. Yeah, well, if you've got like studies or work or anything, gaming can be a hard hobby to like keep up with. I always try and make room for gaming because it's my way of unwinding after a day. But I don't always get a chance to play the games I want to play. Like I'd really want to play more Baldur's Gate, but I haven't been able to play that much lately. Again, it's mostly because of work, and obviously because I have 2 jobs, technically speaking, I don't always get a chance to game. So it's always nice when I go live, because it means I can at least play something before getting back to the grind. So I feel you're there. Life comes before fun, unfortunately. I wish it was the other way around, but you can't make money doing nothing. And it's okay. Yapping's good. It gives me something to bounce off of, because talking to myself all day is the first sign of madness. Apparently, that's the saying, isn't it? Talking to oneself is the first sign of madness. It's when you start replying to yourself which is worse, though. Well, I would say stop watching me and start studying, but I'm a bad influence, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not your mother. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Although I will be going soon, so then you can study. What are you studying? Out of curiosity. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. But out of curiosity. To be fair, I was never good at studying when I was in school either. I used to do everything at the last minute. So I really can't say anything. Ninth grader. American terms? I'm going to assume American terms. Yeah, so at that age, I definitely was not good at studying either. So I really can't scold you for not studying, because I was terrible too. I think the only sort of subjects I really liked in school was art, music, and science, but only one in particular, and that was chemistry. And that was only because we used to get to blow stuff up or dissect things, and we did all the cool stuff. Our science teacher used to do this experiment where he would blow something up, and in his spot there used to be just like burn marks on the ceiling from where he'd burn stuff up all the time, and they would hit the ceiling. So funny. But yeah, they were the only stuff I was really into when I was in school at that age. Of course, nowadays I do really like English. Not the language itself, but trying to get better at like sort of writing and stuff, because that is kind of like my job now. So I kind of have to push myself and learn better English. Oh yeah. The monthly tests are just a general see where the students are and if they need help with anything, I guess. Yeah, nobody takes them seriously. English for me was not easy growing up because of my dyslexia. I do have a bit of master of it now, though. To the point where I can point out someone else's flaws at least. I still struggle with some like reading and writing though. Welcome back, Knight. You missed obviously the rest of me reading the book, and we played some Sudoku. Sudoku? No, Suki, or whatever it's called, the watermelon game. I mean, I didn't hate English in school at night. The problem was that obviously my dyslexia prevented me from like being any good at it. And the stuff we did for English was Romeo and Juliet, and yeah. we all know how I feel about romance books. Although technically it's more of a tragedy than romance, so... But again, it's not really my genre, even though I write it now. I do like the creative writing, though. That was always the best part. What I could never get my head around was German and Welsh. Only because you used to have the one language straight after the other. Like, you would either have Welsh first and then German, or German then Welsh. And I used to get mixed up all the time. Like, I think I used to say, I can't remember what, I think it was in a German test, like, not a proper test, just one of those middle of the year tests. And I think I was saying I like chicken, like to eat chicken. And I think I used the Welsh word for chicken instead of the German word, or something like that. I was such a goof. My writing's going alright. I just need to stop being... I want to say lazy, but it's not really laziness. I'm just having issues at the moment trying to finish this book. The writer's block is real. I did force myself to write a chapter, though. I think last week. I can usually write so much, but this block has just really put me on a hold. Knowing 3 languages is really impressive. I can't speak again. Really impressive, I found. I am not fluent in anything other than English, but I have been trying to go back and memorise my Welsh because, you know, I'm Welsh. I should in theory, know at least some more of that. I'm actually surprised by how much I remember, but until I can remaster it, I'm probably not gonna like speak Welsh all that much. I'm always impressed by people who can like fluently speak more than one language. Arabic must be really, really, really hard to learn. I think I'll just stick with learning Welsh for now because, again, if I start learning more than one language at a time, I'll just end up confusing myself. But I do want to remember as much Welsh as I can. I remember my numbers, and I remember most of my colours. I can sing a happy birthday song in Welsh, and obviously I can say good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening as well. So there is quite a lot I still remember, but because where I'm from we don't really speak Welsh all that much, it's mostly English down here. I don't really get much use out of it, so it kind of just flies out one ear, goes in one ear, goes out the other. I did manage to do a little bit of brainstorming while I was at the party night. So I've got a synopsis from one of the new books I'll be writing soon. So I have slowly started to get back into it. That's really amazing. Knight. So for someone to be able to speak English and then swap straight into like Dutch, or vice versa, is amazing. Like, I definitely could never do that. I know a little bit of Japanese, but mostly from anime. And I don't think I could speak it fluently. I'd probably butcher it, and then all the Japanese people would just laugh at me. I mean, I can barely speak English. Hey, I found knowing 3 languages at 15 is very impressive. You should be proud of yourself. I know I couldn't speak 3 languages at that age, but I'm also blonde, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. I know my nephew is learning... Oh, what was he learning? I think he was learning French a little bit. But he soaks up everything like a sponge. It's so amazing. Yeah, that's true, Knight. I can't edit a blank page. I just need to write an outline for it now and send it to my editor and see if she likes it. She gave me an idea for the story, because this is a story she wanted. She probably wanted it sooner, but I've just been stuck. So I need to write an outline. I have a general idea of what she wants for the beginning, but she said I had creative freedom for the rest of it, and that's never a good thing with me, because I just want to go wild, and I'm trying not to go wild because fantasy doesn't really sell well with the werewolf spicy stuff. But I really want to. I really want to do fantasy, but that's not what's selling. So yeah, it is hard to understand accents sometimes, Afan. Where I'm from, we have a huge like multicultural thing here, so there's like a lot of people from all over the world. Sometimes I struggle. I mean, I struggle listening to other Welsh people, but when you have people with what's the name of that really long town now? Llanfair, something, Langoch, and it's just like, excuse me, what? Oh, Welsh. I am so proud of my country, but at the same time, it's just like, it's the weirdest language ever, at least in my opinion. You have to have so much phlegm when you're like speaking it. Yeah, no, I'm a blondie by nature. I have dyed my hair, so at the moment I'm not blonde, but I am born naturally blonde. I'm a blonde idiot. The smartest blonde idiot you'll ever know, but still a blonde idiot nonetheless. Well, hopefully you can understand my language a bit better when I don't have a stupid cough and sore throat, Afan. Hopefully it'll go away soon. I will try and speak clearer. I know I do have a little bit of a problem with that. Sometimes even my closest friends struggle to understand me sometimes. And they're like, they try and correct me. I'm like, but that's what I said. So I will try and speak a little bit more clearer. I know I also speak a little bit fast sometimes, so I'll try and speak a little bit slower and clearer. Yeah, the problem with the UK accents night is that there's just so many of them. Obviously, if you're from America, you'll probably think most British accents are like the Cockney accent. They're like that. I'm not going to try and pull that off. But if you're from Europe and you've been to the UK, or if you're from the UK, you're probably going to know that there's a lot of accents here. And yeah, we all struggle to understand each other half the time as well. Like, I've got friends from Bath that come down sometimes, and it takes me a moment or two to remember how they speak, because they've got a little bit of a twang. It's not as bad as Cockney, but it's definitely there. And I'm just like, hang on a minute, what did you say? My favourite, if I don't include the Welsh because bias, but my favourite accents are the Irish and the Scottish. Their accents are just chef's kiss. Yeah, they have some amazing accents. Oh yeah, as Knight said, Afan, there's a lot of blonde jokes, and it's just basically saying, "Oh, you're an idiot, you're dumb." Hence why I make blonde jokes all the time, because I think it's funny. Like, obviously blondes aren't any dumber or anything than other hair colours. It's just a joke. I'm sure there's like proper jokes out there with blondes in it. So some people get really offended by the blonde jokes, but I don't. I think they're funny. And I'm sorry that your friends mock you. I've had friends that mock me for things as well. It's never cool. Like, there's a difference between playfully like teasing one another, and just mocking someone for something that they can't control. That's not cool when they do that. Hopefully your friends don't tease you too much about it. Yeah, I like blonde hairs as well. I just get really bored with having the same hair colour all the time. So I tend to go... At the moment it's mostly sort of like a blackish... Well, it was black, it's more of a brown now. And it was purple at the tips. I need to redo my hair though, because it's pretty much washed out. But I like doing fun colours. I did stay blonde for a while though, because I kind of got bored with the fun colours, so I went back to being naturally blonde, and it was nice for a while. Well, as long as they're only teasing you for fun, and you tease them for fun as well, that's fine. I can get behind that. Me and my friends do that to each other all the time. Never seen purple hair on people. Coloured hair isn't hugely popular, even in places like where I'm from. I do see it a lot on older people, though, strangely enough. I think I've seen a couple of youngsters like have their hair done, but generally it's not allowed in schools, so the only time I see really, really young people with coloured hair is if it's like the holidays. But I work retail, so I get to see like people from all walks of life, and the ones that usually have dyed hair are pretty much the older people, which is really funny. Like, you would think that the old people would be the ones that would be like, oh, young people these days, and get off my lawn, how dare you be disrespectful to your natural hair colour. But no, they're pretty chill. It's them lot that seem to have all the bright colours. It's really, really funny. I love old people. Apart from the Karens and the Kens, but the chill old people are nice. There's nothing wrong with short and neat hairs, Night. When my mother passed away like 10 years ago, I actually shaved off all of my hair and donated to charity. Although I coloured it pink first, because pink's the whole thing with the cancer thing. And then I shaved it all off. That was pretty fun. But I've grown it out since then. I think it's just past my shoulders now. It needs a good trim though. I need to go to like the stylist and actually get it properly done. Yeah, as I said about the older people, that you'd think they'd be more strict, but they're actually really, really chill around here. Or at least most of them. Not all of them. I've definitely met some horrible old people. Nothing will ever beat the ketchup guy, though. And that's forever what he's going to be known as to me, is the ketchup guy. I've never seen an adult man, and I mean like an elderly adult man, behave so much like a child in my life. So funny. Like I couldn't serve him in the end because I knew I'd just laugh, and it's not very, very professional to laugh at someone else throwing a tantrum in public, so I had to get someone else to serve him. But that will forever be something that sticks in my head. I really, really like black hair. A fan. Black and silky. Although I have a soft spot for shaved heads. I don't know what it is about the feeling of someone who's like had their hair shaved like a little while ago, so they've got a bit of spike to their head. I just really like playing with spiky hair. I don't know what it is. But obviously, if you got longer hair, you can do more with it. Which is why I grew my hair out, so I could like put it up and style it. But there's something about hair that's freshly growing back. So satisfying. Oh, my Magic the Gathering decks. Some more cards came in the post today. So I've tweaked my decks a little bit. So I have an elf deck, which I based on Solus from Dragon Age Inquisition. I've had to put in some griffins in there though because it's a white, green, black deck. So I had to put some griffins in there because I didn't have any white elves or wolves. But for the most part, it's elves and wolves, hence why it's a soulless deck. And some of the cards give all elves death touch, and one of the other cards give all wolves death touch. So that's going to be really, really nasty. My friends are going to hate me for that. One of my friends that we got into Magic the Gathering recently, he says, "Oh, your deck's always got death touch in it." I'm like, no, they don't. And that deck didn't have death touch in it originally. It does now, so joke's on him. He kind of did that to himself, though. I like trolling him in Magic the Gathering. So if he says something like that, damn straight am I gonna like deliberately go out my way to get cards to give all my wolves and all my elves death touch, because I'm a mean bitch sometimes, but only when in games, because it's fun, and I like winding them up. Oh, did I not tell you guys the story of the ketchup man? Okay, so I work retail. This is no shock to anyone. About, I'm going to say a year ago, but it might be a little bit longer than a year. It might be like a year and a half now. I worked in a cafe. It was for a supermarket, but it was in a cafe. So I had served this guy, I think it was an all-day English breakfast. It was a breakfast anyway, but it might have been an old English breakfast. And as I took the meal out to him, I asked if he wanted any sauces, or anything that, to supplement his meal. And he wanted, I think it was brown sauce or barbecue sauce. I can't remember which. It was one of the two. But we didn't have any in stock at the time, because where I worked, it's terrible for getting stuff in stock. They'll usually send too much in or not enough, and we will either have so much we have to throw it away because of expiration dates, or we'll have nothing in, and we'll have nothing in for like weeks. So we didn't have any of that in, but we had loads of tomato ketchup. But he didn't want tomato ketchup, and he threw the biggest temper tantrum imaginable, like a temper tantrum you would expect a 2-year-old to have. And he was like, "Well, I will not eat this unless I have my ketchup." And I was just like, you're in your 70s or 80s and you're behaving like this in public? Like, I can excuse like kids and younger people to kind of be like that, especially like if you got ADHD or something. That I can excuse, but when you're that old, you should be able to regulate yourself a little bit better. Again, I can excuse, like, I can sort of like excuse younger people and people with ADHD and stuff, but when you're that old, anyway, so he was like trying to get us to steal essentially off of the shop, which we're not allowed to do. We're not allowed to just go on the shop and grab something from there, because obviously if you haven't paid for it, you don't own it, and then that means it's stolen, so in the end I had to get someone else to deal with his issues, because I just couldn't. Again, if this was a child, I'd be like, okay, well, they might have like ADHD, or they might be sensitive to certain things. I can excuse that, but when you're in your 70s or 80s and you can't eat something without something else, you shouldn't be able to like regulate that a bit better. Like, check that you've got the stuff in like people have stuff in store before you order it, if that's the case. Like, if you seriously can't eat it without that particular sauce. But like we had like loads of tomato sauce, so I offered that to him, and it just wasn't good enough. So there we are. So that's the tomato sauce man. It's not an amazing story, but it's something that will forever linger in the back of my mind. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. The other story that really gets stuck in my mind is, oh, I think I was working on a delicatessen, and this was back when I worked somewhere else, and I'm trying to remember now. This was so long ago. Basically, I think we didn't have a meat in stock. I can't remember what meat it was. It might have been like gammon ham or something, or maybe it was Italian ham. Maybe I can't remember. There was a certain ham that we did not have in store. Now, for anyone who is either from the United Kingdom or who has ever visited the United Kingdom or anywhere in Europe, really, but we'll just stick with the UK for now. Here we tend to use like terms of endearment, even towards strangers. So like we all call someone like my love, darling, sweetheart. You know, things like this. Especially in Wales, we're just that sort of people. You know, we're open and friendly to everybody, unless of course you piss us off. But that's a whole other story. So basically we didn't have this ham in stock, and I was like, oh, sorry, my love, don't have any in stock at the moment. Is there anything else I can get for you? And I've never been so stunned into silence in my life. Like, this was back when I was still fresh and new and naive to the wonders of the world. And she was like, I'm not your love. And I'm like, okay. I don't know your name, so how else am I going to address you? Anyway, so that was definitely another one that's stuck in my brain. Because it's just like, well, okay, I have no other term that I can call you, which you're probably going to get offended by more. And it's just like, yeah, okay. So I just kind of just stood there, because back then I did not know how to respond to these types of people, because I'd never come across anyone like this before. And I'm just like, wow. So yeah, I don't know how I would respond if someone else came in and snapped at me like for something so simple. I do make fun of it now though, because I've seen some other, like, I'm gonna say, I think she was American. I've seen some, like, an American say it online, how they think it's rude and obnoxious, and I'm just like, probably best if you don't come to the UK then, because yeah, this is totally a thing and a cultural thing here. And someone else was like, oh, it's not a cultural thing. And I was like, yeah, it is. It totally is. If a certain culture addresses you some way, then that is a culture thing. Like, what else would it be? I always rag on the Americans. I'm so sorry. Maybe one day I'll come across someone from a different country that says something funny to me. Maybe one day. Yeah, I'm an introvert as well, Arfan. I'm an extroverted introvert. But yeah, no. The only reason I deal with people is because it's my job, basically. If I don't have to work, then I prefer staying in. I do like going out, like to beaches and things, but I generally keep to myself regardless. My friend group is the only people that I can tolerate for more than a few hours. But yeah, I've never had anyone else other than that one American online mention about the love thing. It's just like, it's just a term of endearment, especially towards strangers. It's like, we're not being rude or obnoxious, we're just being friendly. There's nothing to get offended about. So weird. Like, I'll try and respect, like, people from, like, if I ever went to that place in America, where this lady's from. I don't know where she was from, but I'm assuming the north. I definitely wouldn't say it to them, because I would understand and try and respect that, but at the same time, if you're online, you're going to come across people from all over the world. You know, you kind of have to expect people not to treat you the same way as you're used to be treated. It doesn't mean they're trying to be rude or offensive. It just means they're raised differently. But, oh well. I think that's the one thing the UK and the rest of, like, Europe and Asia have in common. You know, we're just really open to people that way. Obviously, Asia has different formalities than us, and although there are some similarities in formalities, but there's differences. Everyone's different, and that's okay. That's cool. You just have to try not to be offended by every little thing. Otherwise, you're just going to live life completely offended by everything. And being angry all the time is kind of sad, and not in a boo-hoo kind of sad way, but sad as in, you know what I mean. Yeah, see, Afan, you kind of get it. You use it in friend groups. We don't tend to use it in friend groups as much here. It depends on the friend group, though. Knight probably remembers me saying this, but our friend groups tend to be a little bit more insulting over here. We love each other deeply, but the moment you become our friends, that's when the insults begin. And we will pick on each other a whole lot. Especially if there's an Englishman or woman in the group. You'll probably find that especially the Welsh, you'll find that we mock each other relentlessly, especially the English. There's a long history behind the why, and it's not good history. But for the most part, you know, we don't blame them for the past, but we do mock them for being English because it's funny. And the Welsh are just amazing and the best. The Irish probably just hate the English, but again, that's a whole history. And we're not doing history. But yeah, so strangers, we use terms of endearment. Friends get the insults. We don't do your mum jokes all that much. We do a lot of innuendo jokes though, and that's what she said, or that's what he said, but mostly that's what she said. But we're a little bit older, so I probably shouldn't be a bad influence on you on that part. Although let's be real, you're going to be influenced by things regardless of whether or not I'm behaved. So. But yeah, we do a lot of innuendo in our group. There's a reason why I have a werewolf deck in Magic the Gathering. And that's because I like to make fun of myself. I will say that I'm a stickler for puns and dad jokes. What was it that I said to my friend? She hated it, and I was just like, yeah, I regret nothing. So I don't think Athens played Baldur's Gate. But I know Knight will know this one. So we decided to get the Baldur's Gate. Well, I started off getting the Baldur's Gate Commander set, and I didn't have a couple of ones that I wanted, so I went and ordered them. I got Astarion and Will, and she got Gale. So we were talking, and she mentioned how one of our other friends wanted Will for his deck. And I said, oh, well, I've got Will. He isn't in a deck at the moment, but he will be going into a deck. And, of course, I used Will's spelling for Will. And she wasn't happy with that because it was such a dad joke. But I was impressed with myself for making that dad joke. Afan, how can I put this? The British have a way with insults. Oh, my character's spazzing out. Yeah. I'm terrible with dad jokes. I'm sorry, Knight. Well, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry. But yeah, Afan, the British love cursing. Don't worry about it. Let's put it this way. I don't tend to throw insults towards people lightly, unless like we're just joking around with my friend group. But when I was playing on my PlayStation 4, I think it was last year, but it might have been the year before that. I can't remember. I can't remember what I was playing. I think it was Disgaea. Anyway, I was playing a game and it did something I really didn't like. I pretty much called my PlayStation a cunt waffle, so yeah. I'm sure a lot of people will be offended by the word cunt, but I don't care. So yeah, you can't offend me with words. There's there's two particular things you might know of in the UK. I probably can't say them on the stream because YouTube will throw a hissy fit. But one of them is the word for like the slang for a cigarette. It's also a slur, so again, I probably can't say it on stream. FAG, I'm sure you know what that spells. So we have that. I don't tend to use the word much because I don't smoke, so but that's a very common one here. There is also a traditional Welsh meatball dish with again pretty much the same word but for multiple slur people. Is he freaking you out with the face? I used to do that all the time to my friends. Anyway, so yeah, there's a meat dish. Let me see if I can. I wonder if I still had the. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, that'll do. Let's see if I can. No, I don't want to do that. Every American is going to hate me for this. Oh, come on, go away. There we go. So this particular meat dish is traditional to Wales. Again, I can't say this word out loud, so yeah. It's definitely not something I can say on stream. So yeah, that's going now. So if you haven't seen it, tough luck. Yeah, the Welsh are problematic, Knight. To be fair, it's also a meat dish in I think, like the border of England and Wales. So I think the English, or at least some places in England, also have it. But yeah, yeah, it's a problematic meatball dish here. So yeah, we have some problematic words here. I think it's hilarious. I'm sure Americans will try and cancel me for it, but what can you do? So yeah, words have no insult towards me, but hey, if someone wants to call me that, they can. I mean, they wouldn't be wrong. I mean, they'd be half wrong, but they wouldn't be fully wrong. Good night, Night. To be honest, I'm probably going to go as well. So I can go grab myself something to eat. And I need to think of some videos I can make. Oh, because I'm part of the Rainbow Mafia Night. So they technically wouldn't be wrong if they called me that slur. I mean, I could technically use it if I wanted to, but I prefer not to use it unless I'm just like making fun of the meat dish and how offended people get, because I don't like using slurs towards people. But if I'm using it to describe the meat dish or the cigarette, I don't care. It's just a word. Yeah, we call it the Rainbow Mafia. Again, I'm probably going to get cancelled for that, but I am part of it, so what are they going to do? Cancel me? Just because I prefer men doesn't mean to say, you know. Anyway, enough about that, because this isn't that stream. I would continue Arfan, but I am starving. I'll try and stream again, though. I don't know if I'll be able to stream tomorrow. I am off tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be able to, because I need to do some stuff. If I can stream, though, I'll stream tomorrow. If not, it'll be potentially next Monday. It depends, because I've got to start packing for my holiday next week as well. Because I am going away for a week. So I need to sort out all my washing and packing. But thank you all for joining my stream and for tolerating my croaky, horrible voice right now. Hopefully within the next few days it'll clear out completely. It's a whole lot better than it was, though. I haven't choked for the whole stream like I have been. I don't know what game I'll play next. I'll try and get on earlier next time and play some Dragon Age for you, Arfan. And then you can see the wonders and amazings of fantasy RPGs. It's a very old game, though, so the graphics aren't going to be the best. But I appreciate you you all for coming. and for tolerating me and my book reading. And I'll stop dying, hopefully. So next stream I will try and do some Dragon Age, and if not Dragon Age, I will try and do... I haven't done Final Fantasy VIII in a while, so I'll try and do that next time as well. The more you tell him to stop, Bafan, the more he'll do it. He's a little bit of a troll. To be that age again. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Have a good one. Noswithda.